In breaking news, a Waukesha County jury has delivered their verdict in the Darrell Brooks case. Also, it's the midterm countdown, some revealing moments in two big debates in pivotal races. This is News 3 Now at noon, and we start this noon with the breaking news we first brought to you about an hour ago. Darrell Brooks is now convicted of 6 counts of murder and dozens of other charges after he drove a car through the Waukesha Christmas parade last year. After about 4 hours of deliberation, a jury found Brooks guilty of all 76 different charges he was facing.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information, dated this 26th day of October 2022, signed by the foreperson, juror number 11. We, the jury.
Brooks sat quietly and listened to almost every verdict with his head resting in his hands. It was a stark contrast to a good portion of the rest of the trial, which was filled with outbursts from Brooks, which meant he was frequently pulled out of the courtroom. There was an outburst in the courtroom by someone in the gallery today after the judge read one of the first guilty verdicts. That person was quickly removed. You can find more coverage on this from channel3000.com as well as Channel 3000 Plus. We've been streaming the entire trial live. We have a full interview with Chris Van Wagner, the defense attorney, at 4 o'clock, and more on the trial at 5 and 6. We're looking at a general warm-up. Let's head to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Greg Barnard has a look at your certified most accurate forecast. Not a bad fall day out there.
Not really. We're back to where we should be. I mean, no more 70s, but 50s are still pretty good right now. And right now we're at 47. It's a bit cool out with a northwest wind at 15. That'll slowly decrease this afternoon, but our temperatures will get up to 53 or 54, which is pretty close to where we should be this time of year. So a cool down, but kind of where we should be. For the rest of the temperatures for all the areas, upper 40s to near 50, a degree or two cooler than we should be. Overall satellite right now, northerly winds, all the precipitation, cloud covers pushed to the east. Everything out west, we're going to be good. That stuff that looks out west is actually going to fall apart, push to our south. So other than cloud cover for the next 2 to 3 days, we're not going to see much anything. And yes, like you said, we are going to warm up. We're going to be above average here for the next several days, week probably, likely, and I'll break down how warm that means and when our next rain chance will come a bit later.
All right, we'll see you then. Greg, thank you. A South Carolina judge ruled this morning that former Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows must appear for testimony in the Atlanta area grand jury 2020 election meddling investigation. Because Meadows lives in South Carolina, the Fulton County District Attorney had to use a process that involved getting a judge in South Carolina to order him to appear in Georgia. Meadows' attorney has argued executive privilege and other rights shield Meadows from testifying. With just 13 days to go until Election Day, voters around the country are hearing last-minute arguments from candidates in a variety of races as they take to the debate stage. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman and Dr. Mehmet Oz squared off in their one and only debate in Pennsylvania's U.S. Senate race. For many voters, it was their first time seeing Fetterman since he suffered a stroke in May.
I might miss some words during this debate, mush 2 words together, but it knocked me down, and I'm going to keep coming back up.
But neither candidate held back from attacks, especially on the issue of crime, which is a key topic in the Keystone State.
John Fetterman, during this crime wave, has been trying to get as many murderers convicted and sentenced to life in prison out of jail as possible.
He has no experience. He has never made any attempt to try to address crime during his entire career, except showing up for photo ops here in Philadelphia.
While the race to control Congress is at the forefront of the midterm elections for many here in Washington, there are a number of gubernatorial races which have just as big of an impact for local voters. Crime was also a flashpoint in New York last night as Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul and her challenger, Congressman Lee Zeldin, clashed at their only debate.
There is no crime-fighting plan if it doesn't include guns, illegal guns.
It's amazing that we're going to be able to go through the entire crime conversation of this debate, and we're still waiting for Kathy Hochul to talk about actually locking up criminals.
While in Michigan, Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Republican Tudor Dixon clashed over abortion.
She's the one that said a 14-year-old child raped by her uncle is a perfect example of someone who should not have reproductive rights and the ability to choose.
She has no limits on abortion. So when she calls me extreme, the truth is that there's no more extreme position than Governor Whitmer's.
Michiganders are also voting on a ballot measure that, if passed, would enshrine abortion rights into the state constitution. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
And the latest CBS News poll shows the Pennsylvania Senate race as a dead heat. A super PAC aligned with Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell announced it's pumping $6 million into the state to support Dr. Oz, calling it a must-win race. Russia's strategic nuclear forces put on a show for Russian President Putin this week. The defense minister told Putin that the exercises were to practice delivering a massive nuclear strike by strategic offensive forces in response to an enemy nuclear strike. The show involved intercontinental ballistic missiles, submarines, and strategic bomber planes. Russian officials have in recent weeks repeatedly accused Ukraine of planning to use a dirty bomb, a bomb laced with radioactive material. They have provided no proof for the allegation. The World Series gets underway Friday night, and there will be no U.S.-born black players expected to be on the World Series rosters when the Philadelphia Phillies and the Houston Astros meet. Only once since Jackie Robinson broke the Major League Baseball color barrier in 1947 has there been a World Series without at least one black player. It happened in 1950 when the New York Yankees played the Phillies. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. eBay bans Jeffrey Dahmer Halloween costumes. And a little later, how to help kids describe the effects of concussions. It's not always easy for them.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon. Some ideas seem good, but aren't.
Maybe she could sell her house.
What could go wrong?
Like listing your house, then dealing with all the trouble, expense, not to mention closing costs. We Buy Ugly Houses can buy your house fast for all cash as is with no hassle. Call or click to sell quick.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
Remember this? Forecasts are predicting an unreasonably cold and snowy winter. Now's the time to winterproof your home with USA Insulation. 35% more efficient than traditional insulation. Our foam in your walls keeps the cold air out and your warm air in. It's like putting a coat around your entire home. Call now before winter and get a $500 early bird discount.
USA Insulation.
New in 2023, iCare Medicare plan members receive an allowance of $150 total per month to spend on items like eligible healthy foods, OTC products, home supplies, wellness care, or living support such as rent, utilities, and internet. All unused monthly funds roll over until the end of the year. If you have Medicare and Medicaid, call us, and a licensed sales agent will help find out if you're eligible. Rest easy. iCare is looking out for you and your health.
It was Halloween. My daughter stopped at 3 homes, her girlfriend's house, her teacher's house, and the man that murdered her. He molested her and he put her in a garbage bag. He was going to be released in 2018. Josh called. He was not there for me at all. You want some help to find out what's going on, and he doesn't help. He don't care about the victims. I know Eric Toney does. Eric Toney helped keep that man that murdered my daughter from being released. Eric Toney's always been there for me, and that's the kind of attorney general we need.
Need to know what the traffic is like before you hit the road? Get the Channel 3000 app now, and I'll tell you where the trouble spots are and how to get around them.
The Channel 3000 app. Get it now. Powered by News 3 Now. Some ideas seem good, but aren't.
These guys will buy our house without even seeing it.
Online buyers make offers that seem attractive at first, only to lower or cancel at the last minute. We Buy Ugly Houses won't reduce or cancel our firm cash offers before closing. Call or click to sell quick.
Adidas is now the latest company to cut ties with rap mogul Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, over his recent anti-Semitic comments. The German sportswear company says it will immediately stop production of its lucrative Yeezy products. Adidas estimates it could take a nearly $250 million hit to its earnings this year after ending the relationship. With Halloween less than a week away, eBay has announced a ban on Jeffrey Dahmer costumes. Interest in the notorious serial killer has increased due to the popular Netflix series based on his life. The e-commerce retailer says it prohibits the sale of items that promote or glorify violence. And Meta, the company that owns Facebook, has released its most high-end virtual reality headset to date. The company says its Meta Plus Pro includes so-called mixed reality features, which blend virtual experiences with the physical world. The tech giant also says the headset has a more comfortable design and advanced displays. The $1,500 device is being marketed for use in both the home and office. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Dan Lieberman.
Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up 116 points. The NASDAQ off 142. The S&P 500 up 2. Our call for action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You're taking a live look at the call for action studio. Volunteers are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you can call right now for action. 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call for action. And happening today, the town of Madison will be hosting an open house farewell. It's about to be absorbed by the city of Madison and Fitchburg at the end of October. The town was established back in 1846. The open house will be at the town hall on Fish Hatchery Road today from 3 to 6 p.m. Pam has today's egg prices next, along with the weekend forecast. Well, Pam doesn't. Greg has that. And then tonight on Live at 4, travel expert Peter Greenberg tells us when's the best time to buy your airline tickets. That's coming up at 4.
Over 800 convicted criminals released. 270 murderers and attempted murderers released. 44 child rapists released. Tony Evers' parole commission has released hundreds of violent criminals early, including some of the worst killers in Wisconsin history. Evers' liberal policies are making our communities less safe. Tony Evers put criminals first and our family's safety last.
Hey, we're here at the local farmers market where Informed Choice Insurance Agency is offering fresh, hand-picked local Medicare. What do you mean when you say shop local for Medicare?
A lot of Medicare health plans have benefits that are specific to your county. So why would you call a national 1-800 number when your local Medicare plans have all the bells and whistles the national TV ads promise, only better?
Don't be fooled by national TV hype. When it comes to your Medicare options, keep it local with Informed Choice Insurance Agency, and their services are free.
Nothing beats a great night's sleep on a new Tempur-Pedic mattress from Steinhoffels. And right now, save $300 on Tempur-Pedic Breeze mattresses, starting at just $53 a month. The Tempur-Breeze uses next-generation cooling technology, allowing you to sleep up to 8 degrees cooler all night long. And you can rest easy when you take advantage of Steinhoffel's 60-month zero-interest financing. Isn't it time you got a great night's sleep? Relax, it's Steinhoffels.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units, all units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
No one like Marlon Wayans.
She sang at my mama's funeral. My mama woke up, she said, now I can meet my maker.
Plus, you won't believe these chainsaw skills.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
We asked and you responded. Now it's time to give away all those codes for kids.
Tomorrow, Josh Breider's live at the distribution site to show you how much your gift means.
Plus, we're gearing up for a warm-up into the weekend. Join us tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 7.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in now with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report on this sunny Wednesday.
Yeah, beautiful day. I just came back from McFarland Pheasant Farm down in Janesville. Got a chance to see how they're doing as we kind of ratchet up the hunting season around Wisconsin and elsewhere. Talk more about that tomorrow. Today, we're focused in on the 95th annual National FFA Convention that is unfolding today down in Indianapolis, Indiana. Wisconsin's got a great presence. Want to introduce you to a few of the young people that will be following this week. The convention starts today. We'll wrap up on Saturday morning with the introduction of our new National FFA officers. Take a look at our friend Zachary Graham. He's from Platteville. Zach is one of 30 performers that submitted an audition tape that wants to be a part of the entertainment during the National FFA Convention. So he is down there now. We'll be performing from time to time on a big stage in the expo area, in the career show area, entertaining members. Congratulations to Zachary Graham. Then we've got our gal from Judah, Emily Makos, that is our American Star Farmer finalist. She is one of 4 in the nation that's going to be up for this special honor. She hails from the Judah FFA. She's up against other contestants from Ohio, California, as well as Iowa. And then this is another familiar face from Wisconsin FFA, Ben Steyer from the Menominee FFA. Most recently, our past president of the Wisconsin FFA found out that Ben has made it through the initial round of interviews and advanced to the next level. He also would like to be a National FFA officer. By the way, speaking of National FFA officers, our own Courtney Zimmerman from Spencer, they're having watch parties up in Spencer on Thursday evening starting at 7 p.m. They are going to listen to what she has to say as she gives up her position as Central Region Vice President on the National FFA officer team. Markets are mixed on the midday in Chicago. The corn market most recently a little softer. Soybeans and wheat are firmer. Barrel cheese today down 2.5 at $1.98. 40-pound block cheese down 4 1/4 at $1.99 3/4. AA butter is down 1/4 at $3.15 a pound. Again, as far as activities are concerned, we've got a handful of our FFA kids that are down there for National Proficiency Awards, and Wisconsin also has 128 recipients that will be picking up the American FFA degree, if memory serves me. That will be coming up on Thursday. So lots of activity going on in Indianapolis. You want to follow along, FFA.org, or we'll do our best to make sure that we're posting information on our social media channels whenever a Wisconsinite picks up a special honor. It's going to be a fun week.
Yeah, some bright young faces there.
Yep.
All right, Pam, thank you. Diagnosing and managing concussions can be challenging, especially in children who often have a hard time describing what they're experiencing. Now, researchers in Ohio are studying a unique method that may help predict which children will experience lingering symptoms. Elise Preston has more.
Senior Thomas Helsel is used to taking hits, but 2 years ago, he was sidelined with a concussion.
It was a blindside hit to the back of the head. I just remember laying on the ground and people surrounding me, and I was a little bit dizzy and confused.
Thomas says the recovery process was slow.
I experienced a lot of headaches right after the fact, some troubles thinking, and focusing on certain issues, and sometimes, especially in school. And I want to say that lasted a couple months.
Most symptoms usually resolve in a few weeks, but up to 1/3 of children develop persistent symptoms, such as headache, nausea, dizziness, blurry vision, and light sound sensitivity. Now, researchers at Nationwide Children's Hospital find saliva may help identify which children are at higher risk of lingering symptoms.
The saliva, we're looking for these molecules called microRNAs. There's 800 different ones that we're looking at.
Researchers identified 13 that were different in the group of children that had prolonged concussion recovery compared to the group that did not. Dr. Catherine Miller envisions this non-invasive method could be administered on the sideline.
This could be indicative of some sort of biological event, right? Some sort of reaction that this child is having, that their body is responding differently than other children who have typical recovery, right?
Thomas took part in the research.
I thought it was pretty cool.
He wants teens to know they should take a head injury seriously.
I think you just need to go get it checked out.
Because it's better to be safe than sorry before getting back out on the field. Elise Preston, CBS News.
And according to researchers, children who experience persistent concussion symptoms are more likely to miss school and have depressed moods, which can all lead to lower quality of life. Let's head over to the Weather Center now. Greg has a look at our forecast, and the rain is out of the area.
It is. We did receive some, and actually it is well needed in some parts, really. Overall, we had like about an inch to almost 2 inches in a few spots. Most areas picked up around a ½ inch. So a lot of the areas to the south, especially southern Iowa, Illinois, got more of it because they had that second system that came up too. And if you look at the drought monitor from last week, we did need it, especially out to the west too. It's been fairly dry, which is good for removing corn and all crops, but overall it has kept things dry, so we could use more. And in fact, for Madison, we're still, I think, well below the 2-inch plus we need for October, and we're not going to get anything for the rest of this month either. So we're going to end up on a dry note for October. Overall, you see the pattern change. Cold air's got locked to the north behind this system, so we're not going to cool down like we did last week. As we go through the week, we're going to get kind of this split flow, basically. One stream to the north, one stream to the south, and that really keeps the cold air to the north, and really the moisture to the south. So although we might see a system come through here, a lot of it's just going to be cloud cover, a little bit of a wind shift and change in direction. We're not going to see much of a change in this pattern until we get to about midweek next week, when we start seeing the system develop in the west. That's where the cold air is going to start plunging south. We'll start seeing that system begin to push east by the middle of next week. That's probably our next rain chance, and that's more Thursday into Friday of next. In the meantime, we're not going to see much. So overall, if you look, there's your high pressure to the south right there. For today, just cloud cover over the next 24 hours. You're going to see the winds turn back around from the southeast. So overall, we'll get rid of that northwest wind. So tomorrow, much more milder conditions. See a system that kind of passes through, but you see it falls apart. A few clouds, showers to the west, but overall, when it gets closer to us by the time we get to Friday, it's not much other than a little bit of a wind shift and clouds. But overall, temperatures are going to stay fairly warm. So today, we're going to get to low 50s. Winds northerly, northwesterly, they'll start decreasing this afternoon. Clouds will start increasing a little bit tonight, but overall, it should be cooled down, getting into the low 30s by the time you get up, right around freezing, which is where we should be this time of year. Temperatures will start, the winds will start moving back up to the southeast, excuse me. That'll be tomorrow. We'll see temperatures warm back up to the upper 50s, which is above average a little bit now. Cloud cover through Thursday night into Friday. It'll keep the temps more mild. Then Friday, more sunshine. We'll probably, a lot of areas start hitting the 60-degree mark. Once again, the winds remain southwest. Really not going to see much problems for the next 7 days. If you look at the 10-day right now, we're seeing temperatures should get up to the 60s through the weekend. Right now, Halloween looks okay, good 61, 62. Temperatures falling in the 50s in the evening. And then, like I said, that next system coming through will probably not be till the end of next week. And that looks to be rain coming in that time. But in the meantime, we're not going to see 70s, but we're definitely going to be above average, and 60s about 5 to 10 degrees difference. So it'll still be nice and dry stretch.
Good looking forecast.
Yeah, overall for the end of October, early November, as we're going into November, it's pretty good.
Yeah, 63 for November 1st. I'll take it.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I'll take it. Thanks, Greg. Up next, Howard's working on a seasonal recipe in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you're not sure when you should be using canned pumpkin versus pumpkin pie filling, we're here to help you out. We'll also be sharing a to-die-for pumpkin recipe.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Is the insurance company playing games with your future?
The initial offer from the insurance company was $100. Hupy and Abraham were able to get me much more than I expected. It was a huge settlement.
Tell the insurance company you mean business.
More than 300 murders just last year. Terror at the Waukesha Christmas Parade. But defund the police radical Mandela Barnes still supports eliminating cash bail, releasing dangerous criminals back into our communities. Barnes says,
reducing prison population is now sexy.
Actually, releasing criminals isn't sexy. It's dangerous. Radical Mandela Barnes won't keep your family safe. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Democrats defunded and dispirited our police, creating the worst crime wave in decades. Biden spent us into 40-year high inflation, drove gas prices to record levels, and opened our borders, causing a flood of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Mandela Barnes supports all the policies causing you and your family so much pain. He will rubber stamp their liberal agenda. Mandela Barnes sides with radical leftists, not with you.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Change it up and choose Dutch Boy from Menards. Get the best quality Dutch Boy paints at the best prices. Pick out the perfect color. We offer free custom color matching and tinting to create thousands of color options. And with Dutch Boy's easy opening, smooth pouring container, and no prep, no prime formula, transforming your home has never been easier. Save 11% on all Dutch Boy paints now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
For Clinton Anderson, our community is his top priority. He's delivered for middle-class families on the Beloit City Council, and he'll keep fighting to lower costs for us in the Assembly. Jeff Klett's priorities are all wrong. He supports dismantling our public schools, wants to slash community services to give tax breaks to his billionaire backers, and he'll vote with extreme Republicans to enforce Wisconsin's abortion ban, which could send doctors to prison. We can't afford Jeff Klett.
If you or a loved one lived or worked at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you or they may have been exposed to toxic water and may be entitled to financial compensation.
Call 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham, right now.
You know, this is the time of year when we start craving anything and everything with pumpkin in it. And that means we often find ourselves at the store staring at the canned pumpkin, wondering if we should buy pure pumpkin or pumpkin pie filling. Lucky for you, we're here to help. Pure pumpkin is just as it says. It's simply pie pumpkins that have been cooked down with no spices added. This is used when our recipe calls for us to add spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. On the other hand, pumpkin pie filling is the same cooked and mashed pumpkin, but it's loaded with a bunch of fall spices, which at times is really convenient. Since we're on a pumpkin kick, I can't think of anything better to make than our easy pumpkin bread. We start with canned pure pumpkin, since we'll be adding lots of cinnamon and ground cloves to our batter. And because this recipe makes 2 loaves, you can keep one for yourself and wrap the other one up to share with a fellow pumpkin lover. To get the recipe for our 5-star pumpkin bread, you know what to do. Visit our website. I promise you won't be disappointed. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a purely pumpkin way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Madison hospitals have art displays of works created out of caps of medicine bottles. A designer in the Netherlands may have topped even those creations. She's created clothing out of COVID vaccination syringe caps. Red caps from Moderna, purple from Pfizer, and blue from Janssen corona vaccines. The designer, Violet Rydell, worked as an assistant at a vaccination center and says she wanted to surprise people with her creations. She even made a white wedding dress made of protective covers for injection needles. Well, the story behind that in Wedding Day. Here's Greg now, final check of your forecast.
Yeah, we're looking at generally clear skies, a few clouds out there, any of the clouds that actually dissipate this evening, so overall good clouds. We're going to November. People probably ask what that looks like. Well, so far, it looks like we're going to have equal chances for above or below, with more of the above being to the southwest. Precipitation is kind of the same, too. So tonight, upper low 30s, right where we should be for this time of year, right around freezing. Tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures warm up a few more degrees, getting close to 60 in a few areas. The winds won't be as strong. They'll be more out of the east-southeast instead of a north wind today. So the things we got to know is just breezy, light winds for the rest of the forecast. 60-degree temperatures. Once we get past today, we'll probably approach the low to mid-60s this weekend. Halloween looks fine, even if Saturday night parties, and if you're going trick-or-treating Monday night too, all temperatures, dry conditions look really good for the whole week. And dry until next Wednesday, and that system that comes next Thursday, Friday, is still a ways off, but that does look pretty impressive system to come through. But until then, like I said, it's a good stretch to be the end of October going into November, where we're still sitting in the 60 degrees, where we know we could be dealing with snow and much colder temperatures.
Well, we've had snow on Halloween plenty of times.
We've had cold, a lot of cold rain too. It seems like that 36, 39 degree rain is always a fun thing, but we've also had snow too. So this year looks good overall.
All right, waiting for the shoe to fall, but not anytime soon. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.